This was supposed to be a different video with different scripts where I wrote up about 1,000 words breaking down why the spiral-based Floor 11 Chamber 2 in Pacific is very retarded and why I just don't like the concepts in general. Staying calm though and just give myself a bit more time to relax and think about it, I began to think about the entire direction of where the spiral-base is heading, and it's slightly worrying actually. The first thoughts about this idea about the spiral base kind of started off with Tekton's video on his survey complaint, more focused on his end portions of his video about the general written feedback and his opinion on the containing ties. To start off though, the idea that a game needs harder content or the spiral base is too easy for example, is not an opinion that's unheard of. Entash is free to play, can basically one-shot the containing ties. Tony Toe is a god and he does what he does. Envy flexes Amber, and I get where Edward is coming from. They're bored with nothing to do. To make things clear, I'm not against the foundational idea that there shouldn't be harder stuff in the game. What I want to get across in this video is that just leaving a comment like make the bits harder or just leave harder content in the game or just add harder content, I think can lead into negative effects. Although I'm always someone that like to scream bloody murder towards the spell base, I think this is the first time that I actually started to run into issues with it. It was within Floor 9. The enemies start to feel like they have 18 billion HP and they hit like a freaking truck and dealing 100,000 damage to all my characters. One of the main reasons being I was insanely unleveled at the time, but this isn't what I want to talk about today. This is more about the introduction of mechanics that MiHo introduced in the game to make everything harder as per requests by the fanbase. On Floor 9 and Floor 10 we get these icy traps where it comes out to grab you from the floor, and Floor 11 we get these energy waves which take away your Q. On each floor and chamber, the character which you want to use if you don't have insane amount of raw damage output from your main DPS changes. Although the icy traps on Floor 9 and Floor 10 may appear to be simple and easy at first, for me the ability to avoid any of those traps was determined solely on my RNG or my ping. At times, the patches on the ground did not even show any warning any kind before the icy traps attack, or there were delays in my dash which makes it impossible to avoid any of those traps. On days where the ping was low, I didn't take much damage, able to avoid the attacks, and when bad, my character somehow got one shot out of nowhere when I wasn't able to switch out my characters for 30 seconds straight. And that's with a Wi-Fi connection of at least 18 megabits per second on upload, which really isn't that bad. Leaving the main issue just being the latency within the connection from Australia to Asia. It was until I farmed artifacts and leveled my character so to all level 80 that I was able to force it, and with my newly built pyro characters taking all the damage that was coming at me and killing everything, and then Floor 11 changes its preference of characters to cryo, and there's a new mechanics which just comes along which you can't even dodge and takes away all your energy and just kills your Q completely, especially for me. And that's unless you have a cleanse in the form of Diona or Xinyan's shield. And if something feels weird or off about the previous things I just mentioned, is that a development team either gives one option to build an insanely powerful team, or just have a correct matching characters, or, you know, actually be physically located to the closer to the servers. An issue in the pattern I see in which the development team takes in the feedback about making the content harder is relying on element of ping and take away the function of your characters in attack or adding things that makes things you can't even dodge. Where the next Floor 11 layout is rumored to have a Beast Herald on a third chamber with a shield that's 10 times stronger than the Hydro Beast mages. And while I fear it's more tedious work, more promotion towards the gacha system for more range of characters, or the addition of more mechanics like the energy wave from Floor 11 which you can't dodge and there's basically nothing you can do about unless you're the correct characters for the cleanse or just have a really strong DPS. And that's not the issue that I have with it. I don't have issue with the Abyss getting more whale-centered, more for those people that like the challenge. If the Abyss was just something on the side that was completely optional, that doesn't affect your game progress, if it doesn't affect anything on your rewards, it doesn't affect any of your enjoyment in the game, then I wouldn't have any complaints about it. If the Abyss was just there for the whales, the people that like to do high damage numbers, then I have no issue, it should be there. But what I have issue is that the Abyss is not there for just the whales, not just the high damage lovers. It's there for everybody. And by that I mean the Abyss is entered by the casual players, is entered by the story lovers, is just entered by the character lovers. And for why you answer, it's because they need resources. The Spiral Base is fundamentally a place that's not suitable for everybody. It's a piece of content that's not suitable for everybody, but it has resources that every single person needs. Fundamentally, Genshin is a game that's currently completely deprived of resources within the open world. Everything is restricted by resin. The amount of more you can get from just killing enemies is freaking non-existent. If you want premium gems for new characters coming up, you need to enter the abyss. For more Mora, that doesn't require just killing mobs over and over again, or using ley line, which require resin. And I fear if all the community asks is for harder content when there's so much freaking issues out there. I just feel like there's a portion of people that will freaking suffer from it. Why are we asking for harder content and not more content? Why are there only 12 floors, and why did that 9-star floor decrease from 300 primogens from previously from floor 1 to 9, or floor 1 to 8 to 150? Why are there not more rewards? What? And if we change back the difficulty of the current floors to the original state, and just make extra floors, even if they have less rewards, that means more resources, and the whales can actually do this stuff and have a challenge, or the people that really like damages can do their stuff and just enjoy themselves, while all the other players can just get rewards. And that's what makes the games fun for them. As a story enjoyer myself, the grind of the abyss really doesn't take a lot of fun away from this game for me. Every fight in the world feels like a joke to me now, and the story quest, which I just did most recently, just takes away all the panic. I love the story, I like the dread, and the fact I can just kill the end boss in like 30 seconds just ruins for me. It kills my game, and I can't do anything about it. My character's getting stronger for the abyss, and I need the primo gems for new characters, which makes the game fun for me, while also taking away the fun from me. All I'm saying, I just feel like we're asking for the wrong things here, and the patterns I see I just don't like. I feel like continuation of this path can only take away more and more fun from the game from a lot of portion of the base, and it's forcing everybody to do more damage. Or in the game where I feel like the exploration was the main theme all along. At least that's what made me hooked in the game in the first place. There are an absolute insane number of types of playing this game, and I don't think it's a good idea to isolate any one of them, just by selfishly saying that the abyss should be harder. If the difficult is what you decide, ask for more floors. I really do think we should aim for a state of the game where you just have some content for every single type of player there is. If you would take a car as some weird sort of analogy as it came up with, for example, you don't just create one machine that can work very hard. What you really want to need is a range of machines, because the car is made out of a range of components. It's like, yes, the main engine of the car is very, very important, and we should focus on it, and we definitely need it. But we also need to focus on the seats as well, and the wheels, and the safety of the car. I feel like it's the same thing that's happening in Genshin. We're too focused on the biz because that's the only permanent content we have. And instead of just solely focusing on the biz, we should ask for more content. One that is skill based, one that's damage based, one that can be more fun based, exploration based, and that just be something that should be straight up in the game permanently. We are letting MiHo just pushing out events after events for every single patch that simply goes away instead of permanent changes that affect anything. The game is purposely designed that we're feeding our breadcrumbs in all forms of events, so the game is dragged on purpose. Out of all the resource issues, all the resin issues, all the RNG shit, I just don't feel like the Spiral bits and the hardest content in the game should be the first thing we are putting all the trouble towards. What we really need is a larger amount of content, a larger amount of resource amount that actually give us a suitable amount of resource for what the game is actually demanding. We need to stop isolating whales. We need to stop isolating F2Bs. We need to stop isolating everybody. MiHoYo feels like they're sleeping in every single patch from 1.3, 1.4. All they're adding some small events that doesn't matter long term. They're adding some small events. Here's 1 primo gems, here's 2 wishes, here's some 3 wishes. Oh my god, 3 new weapons. It doesn't matter. Oh, well, it does. But I just wish we want each patch to give us something genuine that we can add to the gameplay experience, and just nothing temporary that lasts for 1 week, 2 weeks. We have resin issues, we have resource issues, we have moral issues. Upgrading talents for characters are a pain. Upgrading everything requires resin, and there's no passive incomes in this game. Out of all the issues, I think we should address all of them, and it's not a single one of them. If a part of the player base wants harder content, there should be harder content. If some other player base doesn't want harder content, they should be able to get resources in some other ways possible. All I'm saying is that I don't like the idea of a single place for resources. And I just don't like the fundamental idea that a business account most centered is like the only thing we can do. Is like, I want more things. I just want the business to be optional. I just want a case in the game where even without this, we have enough more to spend for a reasonable amount and just enough things that we can use to live out our characters. And I'm really tired. I'm sorry for recording this in such a bad state. But I just want to get my opinion out there, and hopefully this can do something about it. I just want to say thank you for watching if you made it this far, and I hope you have a good day, I suppose, wherever you're at.